I would like to send my regards from Košice, Slovakia, from eastern part of Slovakia to Dubai. This is a very nice morning now. The sun is just arrived. So I would like to start my presentation. And here it is, the first slide. So at first, I am planning to speak about the usage of IT technology and bedside ultrasound in neonatal transport in our region. Yes. So I have no financial disclosure or conflict of interest with presented materials in this presentation. The photographs, all photographs are with parents' permission. So our region, it has approximately 1.5 million inhabitants. Annually, we have 18,000 deliveries. But still the structure of the obstetric department and neonatology is a little bit more complicated. We have 2 perinatal centers, the bigger one, and the smaller one. And plus we have another 5 a little bit smaller intensive care units, which does not serve ventilation support. They serve only some basal treatment of babies. And there is too much smaller departments. So if you have such a reason, there are some disadvantages in that region. Especially, there are too many neonatal delivery departments, and usually the neonatal skills in these departments is a little bit less. They are not able to learn quickly. Higher incidence of unexpected congenital abnormalities because the prenatal care is still not optimal. And there is still increasing necessity for early and precise postnatal diagnosis to establish an effective early treatment. We have too many in our transport. So why we use the bedside ultrasound as a tool which could help us to change the quality? Because it is non-invasive. It is allowing the evaluation of the brain, lungs, heart, abdomen, liver, spleen, kidneys, suprarenal glands, and others. It's allowing us to evaluate the dynamic changes of the circulation with color flow mapping, Doppler technologies, which is in some situations could be very, very useful. The results are in the same time are available in real-time imaging for all participants managing the critical newborn, the intensive care unit, the cardiosurgery, the emergency department. So this is how the unit is looking. This picture was done two years ago. We have 20 neonatal intensive care beds, but still the necessity is a little bit higher. So the pressure to admit newborns is quite high, and we're trying to manage all the cases as early as possible. And the usage of all necessary equipment is here. So we developed this unit last 20 years, and now it is able to serve some level of care. Our goals was care about the quality, search for early adequate diagnosis, work on the regularization of perinatal care, teach the neonatal community with every case transported. And especially now it is very, very important to care about the humanization of the neonatal intensive care. And if we transport the baby, the mother is staying in the smaller hospital, and we must to give to the mother the right diagnosis as soon as possible if we're moving the baby. So this was the first system which we developed in 2012. It was a system when we sent all the ultrasound scans to the server, and using the server and with a tablet, we were able to review the scans of the ultrasound directly on the big screens during the rounds. We use these screens also for the education of the students, so also for the data from the monitors. So this is the system which helped us to communicate in higher quality. So our aim was to do the same in transported newborns. So the main interest was the visualization of the data before, during, and after the transport, to collect the data and use them. So because we have it, if we have it directly in a ultrasound machine, if we are connected with notebooks, and if we are connected in a network, then it is very easy to share the data in the same time in more places. So we are using the transport ultrasound. It is Aloka Hitachi Noblus. And we are doing in a lot of these cases, the brain, lungs, heart, kidneys, and abdomen as a new tool in all transported newborns. Very important, and we see it very, very effective to use these materials for briefing before the transport, and also debriefing after the transport with the team and with our team, and also with the team in the regional hospital. The main idea why we are doing is that we are searching for best solution, learn on our mistakes. So this is how does it look. So in a time when you're putting the baby in an ambulance, on that time, usually all places, the ambulance, the regional hospital, and the non-ICU unit has the data in a system, what was downloaded. So let's go, how does it look? If we take the ultrasound to the transport and we are directly in a regional hospital, we are recording all the data. The data are moving to the tablet. Yeah, from the tablet, it is going to the cloud. And for the system and the cloud system, we are using Windows Azure. This is a safety wave, how to share the data in real time soon when we do the investigation in regional hospital. Very soon the data could be seen in more places. So this is one of the most common case what we are managing. Usually something happening in a smaller regional hospital, the baby is not breathing well, need a lot of oxygen, desaturating. We are coming, evaluating the baby. In some situation, we must do intubate, suction, give surfactant. Then after all our intervention during the midnight or after the midnight, we evaluating the baby with ultrasound, all the possible important parameters, setting the setting of the ventilation support and moving the baby to the NICU unit. And all these are recorded, not only with these pictures, but there's especially the scans which was done, was sent to the system and was available to the regional hospital and also to the NICU unit. So this is how does it look. We are doing, see here, in time, after a few minutes when we downloading it in a tablet. Now, these two tablets were in present time are in an ICU unit, but one from the tablet was in the transport with us. And in the same time, when we're doing these investigations in the regional hospital, all the data are available also in an ICU unit. So the staff in an ICU unit is informed what kind of baby is coming. And he is not informed only about the ultrasound scans, but it could have also the pictures of the baby, the short video, how the baby is breathing, etc. So when we arrive to the NICU unit, here are the data on the system, on the software system, what we have. We could connect the system also directly to the NICU unit and download some of the data from the screens of the computers or from the ventilation machines. So if we are using such a system, we could have all necessary data in one server, and in a safety fashion, we can analyze and use this data for the education and for discussions. Another case, what we were asked to come to the hospital 80 kilometers from our center. They have a suspicion that baby have a congenital heart disease. So they asked us to come. We arrived and we find a pink baby who tolerated the milk, was good. And now we evaluated the ultrasound of the heart, and we discovered that the baby has a tetralogy, but the pulmonary stenosis was not severe. So it was not necessary emergently transport the baby to the cardiac center. So we continue with the bottle feeding and move the baby to our center and wait till the weather was better. But just in that case, on that time, the weather was horrible. We have -12 degrees, and the transport such a baby 400 kilometers was complicated. So it was better to do the stabilization in an NICU unit, and then follow the baby. If the baby needs transport, then the baby is transported, but this baby does not need the transport to the cardiosurgery. Another case is what we managed. We were called from the hospital 60 kilometers with 2 babies when they have a suspicion for congenital heart disease. This one and this one. You also see the different colors. This one have a, finally, when we arrived and do the evaluation of both babies, we discovered that this baby have a double outed right ventricle. And this baby does not have a coarctation, what was a suspicion in regional hospital. So we we made the right diagnosis and finally transported only 1 baby to our NICU unit and planned a transport to the cardiosurgery. We give prostaglandins, and all was done very early during the transport because we have the data. So how does it look in the system? So in the system, you have the main screens with ultrasound scans. You have screens with pictures. We do the test, screening test with a pulse oximeter, and it was shared in a few minutes after the baby was transported. Here is the big PDA where the baby have, and you can move and see all these, and you can start the communication also with this data with the cardiosurgery. So when we give the baby to the ambulance, the data are available for the NICU unit, the data are available for the cardiosurgical unit, which is 400 kilometers from our center. So what kind of congenital abnormalities was in our group of transported newborns? So we have double outlet right ventricle. We have 1 coarctation, which was detected very early after delivery in age of 2 hours. We have phallotetralogy, pink phallot with mild stenosis, atrioventricular canal with diabetic fetopathy, and we have persistent increased pulmonary vascular resistance with mild respiratory problems and this desaturation. So all of these cases happened during our transports. This was another case, what we managed. When we arrived to the hospital, the baby was on 100 oxygen, very complicated, the saturation was critical. We arrived to the unit, evaluated the brain, evaluated the heart, to do some measurements. We see very severe pulmonary hypertension, the resistance was high, very low left ventricular output, very complicated and very low right ventricular output, and we does not find the kidneys of the baby. The baby have only very small suprarenal glands, typical shape of the suprarenal glands. So we made the diagnosis of agenesis of kidneys in a regional hospital, and we discovered that the baby have a very severe pulmonary hyperplasia. So finally, the baby was not able to stabilize before transport. We left the baby on regional hospital. We sit with the mother and with the parents, explain them what's happened, and leave the regional hospital without the baby. The baby died 20 minutes after our departure from the unit. So this was very important. We feel that it was very important to give the possibility to the parents that such a severe complication happened, and that clearly say what are the possibilities and clearly say the prognosis. So another, all the transported newborns are in higher risk for complications. This baby was delivered in regional hospital. After delivery, it was resuscitated and had a collapse of the circulation, severe bradycardia. It was discovered a very huge right side tangent pneumothorax. So in emergency, drainage was done, and the baby was evaluated. The whole body hyperthermia was started, and later it was managed with whole body hyperthermia for 3 days, and there's a close monitoring in NICU unit, and all the data was recorded to the system. and the outcome was perfect. So this is what we would like to do to help to these babies as soon as possible. And if you do it early, then the outcome is very nice. So what are the advantages of our system? So it has a different and new communication possibilities. Real-time consultation between the nurses, physicians in the region, in the ambulance, in the center, the data available for the regional network, and you are teaching in the same time. So every case could be used for the briefing and debriefing. There are possibilities to consult the case and share the data with cardiac center, NIC unit, and with special consultants, for instance. The data storage, the database filling is very important, and the retrospective evaluation is helpful for we collecting all these, but we still would like to do the more detailed evaluation, but we are working on that. New advantages are coming out with these cases, and every case which is coming with some unpredictable complication is very, very important for us, and we are debriefing and debriefing it. So and for us, it is very important if we have some congenital abnormalities to clear an early managed and the indication for whole body hypothermia or other treatment. Okay, so was it helpful? Majority of the cases for neonates with transitory trachypnea of the newborns or respiratory distress syndrome, some others complicated with aspirations. Quite often we give surfactant and intubation. We have one case with renal agenesis. It was a Potter sequence. Some cases were with the cases with severe hypoxia, and we early detected the indication for whole body hypothermia, and it was started during the transport. We have a quite high incidence of congenital abnormalities, and it was early detected. So we were able to tell the prognosis to the mother, not only to do the diagnosis and start the treatment, but also speak in a regional hospital with the parents. And our data collect process, so we are working on it still. So the disadvantages of the system, yes, you are right. There are some disadvantages, especially the price of the equipment is a little bit more expensive. The need of neonatologists with skills and experience is very important. We must work on it. It is a never-ending story to do this, you know. And there is a need for simple. In the present time, it's not so expensive to have a hardware. So some notebooks and cloud system. It is quite easy to install in a neonatal network. So the time decides. Definitely, this is what we learn in our system last eight years, and this is how does it look if we are from the ambulance, we are moving to the helicopter. This is the bedside ultrasound what we are moving with us. Yes, sometimes we feel that we take too much equipment with us, but it's in a lot of cases it is very, very important. If anybody is interested to see a little bit more detailed information about our transport, you can visit the YouTube channel, what I put it to my slide. Okay, so this is the publication what was published in June 2018 in Italy in Journal of Pediatrics and Neonatal Individual Medicine. And this is the slide when I would like to thank to all of our collaboration partners, especially our mentors and consultants, Stephen Dawn, Gary Weiner, Samir Gupta, Jay Kim, David Adamkin, Nahar Malsoni, and a lot of others from Michigan University, from Sindra Medicine Qatar, from Louisville University, and a lot of other universities and hospitals. So thank you for your attention, and looking forward for any questions.